Coming on, I just want to say welcome. Thank you for attending today's workshop, Intuition and Meditation, Connect with Your Inner Peace and Wisdom. And a big thanks for all of you guys for joining us today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kim Chestney, and I'm the founder of IntuitionLab, and I'm really passionate about intuition and the power it has to enlighten our lives in the world. And I'm so excited to be here collaborating with Bhante Pema today on meditation and how really, so we can understand how meditation really can up-level our intuitive practice and really take things to the next level for us. Got a few more people coming in. Well, they're just pouring in now. There we go. This workshop is part of our annual Illuminate program. It's an 8-week intuition immersion where we learn how to connect with our inner guru. And we're so excited to have Bhante Pema here as our special guest. We bring in guest teachers to really talk about how we connect intuition with everyday life and our spiritual practice. So meditation really is one of the most important things that we can do as we grow our intuition and become connected with our higher self, because it's in that space, right, of meditation where our intuition speaks to us. Meditation really opens up the space between our thoughts and our lives and allows us to focus and connect with that inner channel and the divine within us. So today's really an opportunity for us to, open up those intuitive pathways and join Bhante Pema in his guided meditation to really connect with ourselves and find that inner peace where our intuition can ultimately speak to us. So let me just check and see if we have any more people to let in here, and I think we are good for now. So I want to introduce Bhante. He's going to be leading a live talk and meditation, and then we're going to follow with any Q&A afterwards. If you guys have any questions about meditation or about anything that he could answer or anything you just want to talk about with him, he's a really interesting person. I was thrilled to be in a live meditation with him about a year ago, and it was just such a wonderful experience. And I just walked away from it feeling so uplifted and just so thrilled to be able to have someone like him here in Pittsburgh to be sharing this wisdom with the rest of us. So Bhante, if you don't know, is the head monk of the Pittsburgh Buddhist Center in Natrona Heights. He was born in Sri Lanka and moved to the United States in 2008. He holds a master's degree in philosophy from the National University of Singapore and a PhD in religious studies from the University of Pittsburgh. And currently he teaches at the University of Pittsburgh as part-time faculty as well. So he has a really interesting background and has a lot to share with us today. So on that note, Bhante, I'm going to turn it over to you. Welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah. May you all be well and happy. And this is a great opportunity for me also. And I really want to thank Kim Chestney for inviting me and then creating this whole platform. And honestly, this is a new experience the way I teach. I used to teach people, in actual presence, but this creates a really new environment. And thank you, Kim, for enabling me to do this. So of course, I met Kim a few years ago, and we had meditated together, and we had nice a lot of sharings together. And again, this is a good way that I can actually contribute to your program on intuition. So today I'm going to talk about meditation. Let me start with a story. This is a story that I came across when I read spiritual literature. I found this story in few sources, but it really resonates with what we are doing in meditation. So this is a story about a woodcutter. So there was a very strong woodcutter and who didn't have any job. So he was looking for a job. And then after a few months of struggle, he was able to find a place to work. So one of the merchants gave him work. He gave him a work in his workshop. He gave him a nice new axe, and then gave him a work to cut down the logs into small pieces of firewood. So he was given a really big quota, big heaps of logs to cut. So the woodcutter was so excited and also so appreciative of this opportunity to work. So he, with a lot of enthusiasm, he kept on cutting the logs into pieces. So he really wanted to do a good job, be grateful to his boss. So at the end of the day, he counted how many logs he was able to cut into pieces, and realized that he has cut 20 logs. He was so excited, and he went to the boss and reported that I was able to cut 20 today, and the boss congratulated him. And then he thought that, okay, tomorrow I want to do more, as a showing of my gratitude. So the next day he came and he worked harder. He worked harder and he spent a little bit, about an hour more. And now he wanted to know how many logs he cut. But when he counted the logs, he found that actually he has only cut 18 logs. Yesterday was 20. Now he spent an hour more, but it's still 18. He was quite disappointed with himself. Thought that, I should, maybe tomorrow I have to cover, I have to somehow achieve my target. So next day he came earlier and working all the day and even skip his break time and really wanted to cut more than 20. And then towards the end of the day, he happily counted the logs he cut and realized that day even worse. He only cut 15. So he doesn't know what is going on. He was so disappointed and went to the boss and apologized. I really want to do a better job than this, and I don't know what is happening. Maybe I'm losing my strengths and I was only able to cut 15 today. Then the boss asked him, when is the last time did you sharpen your axe? And then the woodcutter said that I was so busy with cutting trees, cutting these logs. I didn't want to, waste any time or doing other things. I was just busy cutting the logs. So I didn't have any chance to sharpen the axe. Then the boss told him, if you don't sharpen your axe, you may not be able to cut many logs. You may work hard, but you may not be able to achieve what you want to achieve. The sharpening the axe is the key for you to cut many logs. So this is really inspiring story. When I read this, I also remember one of the most popular U.S. president, Abraham Lincoln. President Lincoln is believed to have said that if you give me 6 hours to cut a tree, I will spend first 4 hours sharpening my axe. So this is what, when we come to our life, actually, we want to achieve so many things. We want to take care of so many things, so many people. And so we are busy doing these things, busy doing, spending our time for this. But we forget that part of sharpening. So if you really want to achieve a lot in our life, if you really want to have more awareness, happiness, peace and intuition, I think, so that's the part that we miss. We are so busy with the life, but we miss the opportunity to reflect and sit and sharpen our mind. So in a simple way, meditation is actually the process of sharpening our mind. So I would say meditation is mind training. Sometimes when we hear the term meditation, people tend to say that it's more like a very silent, closed eyes, isolated practice. Of course, that form of meditation is also part of the whole meditation practices, but meditation is broader than that. It's generally the training the mind in different ways. And because why we need to train, because our mind is not a static thing. It is not a solid entity. It is a process. It is a flow. So it's like a river. So our mind is always flowing and moving and flow. So therefore, we can channel it, we can direct it. So because of this fluidity, because of this nature of flowing, and we can change it, channel it, and direct it to the way we want to direct. And then on the other thing is that even though we train our mind or not, whether we purposely train our mind or not, our mind is going to get trained. And we can purposely train it, or otherwise it will simply get trained based on the encounters we have, based on our experiences, based on the environment we live in, based on the people we associate. It's always our mind is a learning organism, you want to call it. It's so fast in learning. So whether we purposely train it or not, it's going to get trained. And we have trained our mind unconsciously throughout our life. Through our media, for nowadays social media, from other people, so it's already trained, but not necessarily in the healthy way all the time. There can be some healthy training, but there can be some unhealthy training. So in meditation, what we do is actually bring more attention to this whole the process of the mind, and they start to train it purposely. It has been trained unconsciously, but now we want to bring more conscious awareness, and we want to train it purposely. So that's the whole meditation. So in fact, one of the original terms used to refer to meditation is called bhavana in Pali and Sanskrit languages. So the wisdom I'm sharing with you is actually from Buddhist tradition. So the original term is called bhavana, which has been later translated to the word meditation. So the term bhavana has original meaning of cultivation, cultivating. So if we cultivate, grow, and that is called bhavana. So in meditation, what we are doing is the cultivation of the mind. So there are so much strengths and skills, capacities in our mind that we can cultivate. So we have a capacity for awareness, but it can be cultivated. We have capacity for loving kindness. It can be cultivated. So we are born with so many skills and capacities, but that doesn't mean that just because we have capacity doesn't mean that they have grown into the fullest potential, fullest level. So the meditation is a way of cultivating these inner capacities we have. So mindfulness is one capacity, compassion is another capacity, and then insight. Maybe in Kim you like to call it intuition. Insight or wisdom is another capacity, and patience is another capacity. So that is why different people have these capacities in different levels. Some people may have more capacity to have compassion than others. Some people have more capacity for mindfulness than others because they have paid some attention, they have trained it through a good association or through their own practice. So the whole meditation practice is paying attention to train these things. One of the important training we do in meditation is training where to pay attention. Our attention is a very important part in our life. Based on where we pay our attention, we construct our reality. For example, let's say you can reflect your day. And if somebody asks, how was your day? You may reflect, what happened in your day, but you will pay attention to few important events, and that will give you an idea, how was my day? And then we have different habits of paying attention to one thing over the others. And of course, unfortunately, many people have this habit of paying more attention to negative things rather than positive things. I usually give this example to people that when you go to work or to go to school in the morning, many people who you meet will greet you like, good morning, how are you doing today? And maybe you met like 10, 15 people, everybody was greeting, and maybe 2 people happened to ignore you. So that happened in the morning. By lunchtime, what do you think we will remember? Will we remember the 15 people who greeted us, or will we remember the 2 people who ignored us? And usually, we have negativity bias, for example, and so we have trained our attention to catch negative things. Of course, we need to acknowledge negative or unfavorable things, but we need to train our attention to give a fair fair treatment to everything happening in our life. So sometimes we can also train attention to see things that we don't see. For example, the one way that we train our attention in meditation is to train our mind to see space. Like we only see the objects in the place, but we can also train our mind to see the space in between the objects. The space is vast, but we don't see it. We see the objects. So we apply the same skill to look at our mind. We tend to focus on thoughts, memories, whatever come in, but we can also train our attention to see the space between thoughts. That's so wonderful to see the space between thoughts, space between one memory from one memory to another. So in that way, we can train our attention where to pay attention. We can train our attention to remember the helps people have given to us and develop more gratitude. So our gratitude is based on where we pay attention. We can pay attention to the negative things people have done to us, or we can train our attention to see more good things, whatever help we have taken for granted. So based on the way where we pay attention, our emotions, our quality of life will be different. So the one way we train our mind is to purposely train our attention and where to pay our attention. And then you develop this skill that whenever you want, you can purposely shift your attention. And maybe you suddenly remember a person, you feel angry about that person, you feel disappointed of that person, and then we can take them. Okay, let me purposely pay my attention. Is there any good thing happened in our relationship? And just you purposely scan any good words, any good moments, any good gesture you experience. Whenever you bring that to your attention, you develop more fair, more balanced view of the person. So that's one way. So in the Buddhist tradition, of course, meditation is taught in many traditions, many spiritual traditions. So I was trained in Buddhist tradition, that's why I'm sharing this, but it's not limited to Buddhist tradition, it's all over the world. So in the Buddhist tradition, there are main two approaches to meditation, the main two ways of doing it. One approach is called calm meditation. And in original language, we call it samatha. Samatha is calm meditation. The second approach is called insight meditation or vipassana meditation. And vipassana has been introduced to the Western countries in the last few decades too. So in samatha, the calm meditation, the aim is to choose an object or a theme to pay attention to, and use that theme and continuously paying attention to that theme again and again, and bring our agitations, bring our fluctuations, bring our distracted mind into calm, settled, serene state. So for calm meditation, we need an object. We usually choose a positive object or positive theme or a neutral one. And then, it's kind of, suggesting our mind a place to rest. In normal way, our mind has no place to rest. We have given our mind to go wherever it wants to go. There's no specific place that is assigned for mind to rest. But in calm meditation, we decide, okay, I'm going to suggest my mind to pay attention to a wholesome object. Could be, usually we use loving kindness, compassion, that inner emotional state. Or you can use a physical process we call breath. Breath is a neutral object. And loving kindness and compassion, they are positive objects. Or you can pay attention to the external object, like a flame of a candle. A flame of a candle, and sometimes traditional Buddhist meditation, we also use color patches, like a round patch of color. Or sometimes even mandalas, like more elaborated, square design, specific designs. So either you focus on external object or a physical process, or one of the mental state. You choose that one object, and then you sit down and you try to pay attention to that chosen object again and again. You may have other thoughts, other memories, but you bring it back, and gradually, when you do it, in regular basis, and your mind find comfort in being with that object. So the whole purpose is to calm our mind, settle our mind, give more space to our mind, and reserve more energy in our mind, and of course reduce most of the suffering and unnecessary ruminations we do in our mind, in our life. So that's calm meditation. So for calm meditation, you need an object to pay attention to focus on. The second approach is called insight or vipassana meditation. In that meditation, you don't need a specific object to focus on. You may start with some, as a way of calming the mind, you may start with focusing on one object, but eventually you release that focus, and it's more like an open awareness meditation. So you keep your awareness very open and wait for any experience to occur. And what you're going to do is to simply observe whatever experiences are occurring to you without necessarily trying to be part of it, without necessarily judging or disturbing it, but more like a passive observer. But what you're observing very specific thing here. You're observing the impermanence or the temporary nature of whatever experience occurring. We tend to take our thoughts or our experience as solid things. So that's why we give so much value to our thoughts. But in Vipassana approach, you sit back, so to speak, and keep the awareness open and wait for any sensation to occur, any thoughts to occur, any sounds to come, any visual forms to occur, whatever. And then what you're really doing is you observe the arising of it, and you are not trying to involve in that. You keep observing, and then it will pass away. So you see the arising and passing away, arising and passing away. So there may be so many things coming and going, coming and going. So as an passive, as an active but uninvolved observer, what you are really seeing is the impermanence of everything that is occurring. And so the experiencing impermanence is a profound insight we will get in our meditation, because when you really experience it, the impermanent nature, flowing nature, temporary nature, you develop a deeper understanding about life and everything. So this is where the intuition comes in, because there are many ways we can know things. Like we can know things through hearing, listening. Right now you are listening to me, and you can read a book, you can have a discussion, and then we know it. So we know as a fact. That's one level of knowing. But that is not enough. People know so many facts. People know enough facts about how unhealthy is smoking, for example. And just because they know facts, that doesn't necessarily change their life. But of course, knowing facts is important, but it's only one level of understanding. And then the second level of understanding is called knowing through reflection. Knowing through reflection. So you first know the facts, learning through listening or reading. And the second one is learning through reflection, means that you keep reflecting on the facts that you have learned. You try to combine it with your own life. So the more we reflect and see the connections, we develop a little deeper understanding of that, same fact that we learn. But the meditation is aiming for even deeper level of understanding, what we can call intuition or wisdom. So we call it learning through experience, learning through direct experience, learning through practice. So that's completely life-changing learning. So we can learn about impermanence through listening and hearing or reading. You can keep on reflecting on that fact. Those are helpful, but when you really experience within yourself that impermanence based on whatever experience occurring in you, that's a deeper inner knowing, and that changes the way we see the world, the way we look at our life, and that changes our reactions, responses, and everything. So that's the level of knowledge, knowing or learning that we aim to achieve in meditation. So other forms of knowing are helpful, but only the knowing through meditative practices, learning through continuous practice, learning through direct experience can really bring a significant change to the way we see the things and the way we live our life. And so so those are the main approaches in meditation, like calm meditation and vipassana meditation. So usually it is, you may think that like open awareness meditation, like we don't have a specific object to focus on, you simply keep open awareness and observe whatever occurring, but you see the impermanence. It sounds quite easy, but in our traditional training, we were not allowed to do vipassana meditation or insight meditation. In the beginning, it sounds easy, but actually when you want to do it, it's not that easy. We are advised to practice calm meditation first, and develop the ability to focus and develop the ability to settle our mind. And once you are good in that approach of meditation, then we will introduce the vipassana techniques, or like more open awareness meditation. So in our meditation practice, we try to combine both in a very very short sections. So it's, of course, if you really want to have a more effective practice, we need to have a more regular practice. But it's important to know that there's two approaches to meditation, so we can do in both ways. I think we have enough facts, enough pieces knowledge we had. I think it's good to go to the other level of understanding, which is the direct experience. So I would like to lead a short meditation, so then we can open for discussion. So what I'm going to do, I will do a calm meditation first. And let us try, whether we can, also do an open awareness meditation towards the end of this meditation session. So we do a calm meditation in the beginning, and a few minutes, we try to keep our awareness open and try to, be an observer and see whatever coming to us. And remember, we are paying attention to arising and passing away of any experience occurring to us. Okay, so there are many forms of calming meditation, but one that I really like is the loving kindness meditation. Of course, right now, otherwise we had to have an object like a flame of a candle or a color patch, or we can also use the breath. But we can't do everything at once in one session. But I would like to guide you through a loving kindness meditation. This meditation, we actually create thoughts. We are not trying to empty our mind in loving kindness meditation. We are trying to generate thoughts. We are going to generate wholesome thoughts, like loving kindness thoughts, and eventually the mind will settle down. But so once we fill our mind with all wholesome loving kindness thoughts, the natural effect of those thoughts will be the calming of the mind. So it's a different way of calming. First filling the mind and then calming it. So let me guide you. So you can adjust your body wherever you are sitting. It's important to have a little upright body. You don't have to look at the screen. For this, you can simply listen to my voice. So I'm going to ring the bell. And try to keep your chin somewhat parallel with the earth to help you to be alert throughout the session. Rest your palms. And you can keep your body upright, but remember to drop your shoulders or relax your shoulders. And open your chest and relax your shoulders. So I'm going to ring this bell as an invitation for you to come to the present moment. Use the sound of the bell and bring your whole attention to this very moment and feel your body, however it is sitting right here. Let everything settle down. Feel your body. Bring your whole attention inward and feel how this body is sitting right here. Feel wherever your body meets the chair or cushion. Feel those pressed muscles. Feel where your hands are resting. Feel the texture of the surface your hand is touching. And feel wherever you have sensation with your clothes. With this awareness of the body, we are automatically in the present moment. And then we can bring our attention to our mind. Let us for a moment simply watch what are the thoughts occurring in our mind right now. Try to notice few thoughts or memories coming to your mind at this very moment. Without choosing anyone, we simply watch. Various random thoughts, memories can occur in our mind. And instead of these random thoughts occurring one after the other, let us now purposely generate a wholesome mental state. This is the way we can guide our mind and train our mind. Instead of these random thoughts, we can purposely generate a wholesome thought. Right now, let us focus on loving kindness. Loving kindness is the willingness for everyone to be well. Loving kindness is the friendliness towards all beings. Loving kindness is the goodwill towards all beings. We all have that capacity in the deep in our mind. Let us bring that loving kindness, that capacity to the surface of our mind. Open your heart. Allow that willingness for everyone to be well, that friendliness, that goodwill come to the surface of the mind. One technique we can use to bring that loving kindness out is to remember a special person in your life that you have a great respect for. Try to remember a person that have given you so much kindness, that helped you so much in your life. It's like a role model to your life. Try to remember a significant person in your life who loved you so much, to whom you have a great respect for. Could be your grandparent, maybe a parent, maybe a teacher that you met in your life. Doesn't matter whoever you remember, just stick into the first one came to your mind. Don't want to change. And try to think about that person, the love that you received from that person. if you happen to be with that person right now, if you happen to be in front of that person right now, or if you happen to sitting next to this person right now, how do you feel? Now you can experience the loving kindness, that open-heartedness. This is the wholesome state we need to grow, we need to cultivate and develop, and we need to radiate towards all beings. Just like we receive the love, care, respect for this special person, let us experience it right now. But let us generously share this loving kindness with everyone. Let us first radiate this loving kindness of that person. We just remember it. Imagine that person is sitting next to you or sitting in front of you, and genuinely wish for that person wholeheartedly. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful. Let us now try to expand this wish beyond this special person to everyone else. Right now, let us be generous and open our heart and radiate this wish, expand this wish to all people, all beings living everywhere. Everyone is vulnerable to experience suffering. Let us share this loving kindness with everyone. May all people, all beings, living in the direction that we are facing now, whoever people and beings living in this direction right now, in the immediate neighborhood in this direction, far away places in this direction, may all of them be well, be safe, be peaceful. May all people and all beings living in the direction of our right, all of them living near and far in this direction, be well, be safe, be peace. May all people, all beings living in the direction of our back, every one of them living near and far in this direction right now, be well, be safe, be peace. May all people, all beings living in the direction of our left, every one of them living in this direction right now, near and far. Be well. Be safe. Be peace. Be all people, all beings living in every direction, above, below, all across. Be well. Be safe. Be peaceful. Rejoice. Rejoice this wholesome loving kindness that pervades into every direction. Embraces all beings. Rejoice this wholesome state of the mind. With this rejoice, let us now try to bring our mind to a short insight meditation. Keeping this wholesomeness in the back of your mind and try to be in open awareness. Wait for any experience to occur. Without choosing or focusing on anything, sit back and keep the open awareness. Whatever you feel, whatever you hear, whatever occurring in the mind, we are not going to involve with anything, but we are going to closely observe everything. Let us try to observe the arising of that sensation, thought, sound, whatever. And keep observing, and you will see the perishing of it. For 1 minute, let us try to keep an open awareness, waiting for anything to occur, and observing the arising and passing of all experiences. Gently come out of your meditation and put your palms together and place them against your chest. And take a moment to feel grateful for this opportunity to have meditation in our life. Feel grateful to all ancient masters who passed this wisdom from generation to generation. Feel grateful to whoever helped your meditation, whoever arranged and facilitated this meditation for you today. And feel grateful even to non-living things which helped our meditation, including this bell, this chair that you are sitting, or cushion, or even this computer, and everything. Deeply feel grateful to all people and all things which made this meditation possible for us today. Namaste. Okay, now we can have opportunity to share and ask questions and clarify anything you'd like to clarify.
Well, let me just start by saying thank you. That was wonderful. I think I can speak on behalf of all of us. How do you guys feel? Everybody feel? All right, I'm going to unmute everybody. So do you guys want to ask some questions here? Bhante, welcome back, everybody. So does anybody have any questions about the meditation or anything that Bhante was talking with us about ahead of time? All right, I'm going to put us back to this view here. I want to kind of get things started. I had a question. I thought the class might be interested in knowing, how often do you recommend meditating?
If possible, then I would really recommend a daily practice. But you can start in a not really long meditation. Doing on a regular basis, even a shorter meditation on a regular basis can be more effective than doing long ones once in a while. So I would recommend anyone to start a 15 minutes practice. Not strictly meditation, starting with a recitation, chanting, some form of chanting, and then simply sitting, quietly sitting for like few minutes and making determination that I will not answer any phone, any text, keep everything away and just be with yourself, feel your body. And so prepare for 5 minutes and do a recitation, that inspiring recitation, and then you can choose to do a meditation like loving kindness, breath meditation, or even you can do open awareness or gratitude meditation. And there are many forms. So I will recommend at least like daily, 15 minutes daily is better than, let's say, one day after 6 months. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really about creating sort of like a culture of meditation in your life where you're just slowing down, making some more space, even if it's smaller increments of meditation, but making that sort of white space in your life where you can have more of the time in the gap between those thoughts, right?
Yeah, basically it's making it a routine. Making it a routine, I mean, you may not have to stick into one specific time, but you can make it a routine, like in between this activity and this activity. So then it becomes a part of life, and you will see, when you do this every day, you will gradually see the difference in how we react to situation, more than reacting, more like more understanding and purposely choosing our response. You see a big difference when you start.
Because if you are training yourself to slow down and be more in that gap, when you have things happen to you unexpectedly, you're already slower to respond and not overreact, right?
Yes, you have sharpened your axe, right?
Sharpen our axe. Awesome. So anybody have any questions? Don't be shy. We have a shy group here this time. Nobody wants to speak up. Because I have more questions if nobody else does. Okay, Amanda, do you have a question? Nope, she's trying to unmute herself. There we go. Let me get you on mute. Hi, we got you now.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I actually, my mother called me too, so that kind of delayed reaction for a second. Didn't realize I was in a meeting, but so I have a general question about meditation. When meditating, do you visualize, or, because I know I visualize, but my fiance, on the other hand, when he meditates, he goes to a place where he can't physically visualize, but he gets to a point where he's just in complete darkness, is what he says. So that's my biggest question about it too.
Yeah, I mean, there are many forms of meditation. So we just talk about mainly two approaches, like calm meditation and insight meditation. In calm meditation, we choose an object. So it could be any object that you find comfortable on settling your mind on. Visualization is only one. We can choose a theme, like a mental state, like what we do, like loving kindness. So it could be like a more internal mental state. You try to tap into that capacity and try to maintain that wholesome state by feeding it again and again and again. So that's one, like paying attention or settling our mind on internal mental state. That's one option. The other one is paying attention to the physical process. Mainly we focus on the breath. That's one option, paying attention to the breath, or even like a heartbeat or simple physical sensation. Or you can choose an external object, like a flame of a lamp, or a color patch or crystal ball. Or actually the visualization works better when we have actual image that we can look at and then recreate that in your mind afterwards. So for different people, based on our prior conditionings, and different people are find comfortable in different objects of meditation. So that's why we need a kind of teacher in the beginning, or if not, we can experiment with different types and try to find what is working for me. So any object can do the same. Of course, based on the objects, there are different benefits too. But if the visualization doesn't work, no problem. Focus on physical process, internal mental state, whatever. So just we need to find a place where our mind can rest. I can come back and settle.
Okay,
So
fantastic.
it's good that there are so many options. That's the wonderful thing, because when we hear meditation, we have this very narrow view that silent, close eyes sitting. I mean, meditations are, there are a wide variety of forms of meditation. Even chanting, recitations, repeating the mantra internally or verbally can be a meditation too. Yeah.
So
And
let's talk. Oh, go
I
ahead.
apologize. I wanted to say thank you too, because that meditation, it literally made me, today has been such an emotional day for me. I actually purchased my first home this morning and closed on it.
Wow.
So that happiness, like the happiness,
Congratulations.
and joy, I literally teared up in tears of happiness during that meditation. So thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. So yeah, I just wanted to, kind of carry on what you were just saying about the chanting and the mantras. And maybe if you had a suggestion, because I know it's something that we talk about a lot in working with our intuition, is sort of reprogramming our minds with the mantras and using the malas. And so do you have any suggestions for how to bring that into meditation?
Mantra meditation can be really effective, for people. If even people doesn't have any experience in meditation, mantra could be a good starting point. So you can choose. I mean, of course, many mantras, for you, for foreign languages, I think. But even I think that even we can use English mantras. Like mantras is a phrase that has a spiritual meaning, and importantly, it has a rhythm. When it comes to mantra, what is more important is the rhythm. Of course, it's good if you also know the spiritual meaning. The rhythm, the sound, vibration is the one that actually change our mind and reprogram our mind. So, of course, universal mantra is Om. So it's a very simple, chant. So you actually It's more like, you know, when you chant Om, you know, you use all possible vowels that we can, you know, say, because although we call it Om, it's like A, U, A, U, M. So, and then also we breathe out from our mouth, and then half and the rest we breathe out through our nose. So the Om is a good mantra, like, you know, using our belly, and then you take the long, you know, deep in breath, and then it's pressing the belly first. We chant Imagine that if we can chant few times, you know, it's already, you know, calm your mind. So half from the mouth, half from the nose. That's one famous. But you know, there are so many other, you know, there are, you know, Tibetan mantras, Japanese mantras. But you know, one mantra that I was working on recently that I really want to find an English one. So one mantra that I found helpful is peace be with me, or peace be with you, or peace be with all. We can change the latter part. So I would say that, okay, so you chant a particular rhythm, like, peace be with me, peace be with me, peace be with me, peace be with me. You can repeat. Peace be with all. Peace be with all. Peace be with all. Peace be with all. So you can replace you, all, or me, and you can use the mala and 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 count. You know, if you want longer version, so you can have and keep counting. After you finish one chant, you know, move one beat and keep doing that. That is so helpful. So I highly recommend that too.
Wow, excellent. That was great. I think that's definitely something we're going to work on in class too. That was fantastic.
I actually have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, Nicole.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. About the mala, actually. Does it matter which fingers you pass the beads through? Because I've heard that you should use your second finger and your thumb.
I don't know. I mean, in practical purpose, you know, I mean, mala can be used for practical purpose, like keep the count of the chant and as a aid to, you know, keep your attention so you don't miss, so you can keep your mind in the chant. So in that case, you know, whatever comfortable way you can count, and but there can be more spiritual meaning if you use different mudras and different tips of the fingers. But that's not my field.
Okay.
So I would say that in whatever practical way you can pass the beat, you can do it. But if
Okay.
the more, you know, spiritual meaning, you know, maybe people can, you know, give different interpretation. But you know, to start, I think wherever, you know, you can pass, that will be best.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Anybody else have any more questions? We've got to wrap up soon because Bhante has to teach a class tonight. But one last chance. Anybody have any quick questions before we end for today? No? Okay. Well, then on behalf of everyone, Bhante, I want to deep bow. Thank you so much for being here with us. It was
Thank you,
such
Kim.
a pleasure.
Thank you, Kim, for this opportunity. You know, as I told you earlier, this is a new experience for me also to have a virtual, you know, meeting, and it's really helpful. You know, I will think about, you know, thank you for, you know, helping me to understand this possibility, and thank you for your generous invitation and a generous donation and everything, and I wish you all the best, you know, for this wonderful course you are doing, and may many people benefit from this. Yeah.
Thank you so
May you
much.
all be well, happy, and peaceful.
Namaste. Be well, everyone.
Thank you.